But yeah, I was just, focused. Is that really where you have to be? Hey y'all, so here we go. All right. So, I had just moved to Colorado. I took off with my 1 year old daughter and 4 months pregnant at the beginning of the summertime. Actually, in the middle. It was right at the 4th of July. I got to Colorado and it was really nice. My mother was living in a hippie town. She had a basically there was this old Victorian house and they were just all next to each other on a hill in this community, and it was being rented out in different levels. So the bottom level was like it was like the opposite of a big hotel because the penthouse is usually the best, but the bottom level was like the penthouse. It was like huge and it was like awesome. And then the second level was divided into two. There were two apartments, and then the top was like the attic, and that's where my mom was, and she was renting out the attic, and it was, all the way up to the very top, and yeah, it was tiny up there. But I got there with my baby girl and I was excited to be there. I was excited to start my new life, really. And also very, very depressed. I was incredibly depressed during this time. I cried a lot. I cried like all the time. Um, I did not want to raise my daughter like I was raised, in that I wanted my daughter to make noise. I wanted my daughter to enjoy her life. And my mother, we were living with her, and I respect my mother and I respect her rules and stuff. So I had to always be shh, 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 my daughter, always telling her to quiet down. And my kitty cat might walk in front of the camera, y'all. But okay. Yeah, I didn't like being with my mother and under her rules and her thumb. I really wanted out from that as soon as possible. And under us, the people that lived right under us were really cool people. It was split in two, and both sides were cool people. I'm an avid pothead, and Larry was really hooking me up at the time. Larry would send in the mail candles, and then because I was on the third story, we would bust them, and there would be a bag in the middle. So that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that. But there was a pothead group right below us, a young couple. They were so beautiful, young hippie couple. And I mean, they were gorgeous, just gorgeous people together. And they were potheads, and they had like drum circles, and people would get together and play their guitars and their ukuleles and stuff like that. And so that was a lot of fun. I loved them. And next door to them was a gay man who was a foster parent, and he was a really good guy, and it was so nice to meet him. I mean, I'm still friends with him to this day. He's a wonderful man. And it was just so beautiful, like love and light. And my daughter, she is such a little hippie child. She like so fit in. She never wanted to wear her clothes, and like in this community it was like not a big deal, even though it was Colorado, but it's summertime. And yeah, I remember I had just gotten there, and like we were about to have the 4th of July celebrations, the 4th of July festivities, and it was like so much fun. The town, like the community got together, and it's like a hippie town, and it was so much fun. It's like a hippie town that's living in modern day society, because I grew up where you had the hippie society and then you had modern day society, and it was like you choose which one you would want to live in. And I would want to live in modern society because there's pluses and minuses to both communities. And this is like a mix of both, and I loved it there. It was so much fun. At one of the drum circles, I met this girl who her job was working at a shop just down the street. And she said, you know, we're actually hiring if you want me to hire you. And I was like, yeah. And it was really cool. This girl, she was a gorgeous redhead, and she was a really cool girl. And sorry about my cat, y'all. But yeah, I got hired working at this old time photography place, and it was a lot of fun working there. I worked with tourists, and I would dress people up, and honestly, she would have me opening a lot of days, and I my mother just lived right up the road from them, so I just had to walk to work, and literally I was just like one block from work, and I would go early to take pictures of my baby girl because, you know, I couldn't afford good photography or anything like that. So I would go and I would take pictures of my daughter and get pictures made. And I took pictures of myself. There was one where, you know, I let the shop dress me up, and I actually paid for that one. I just got a 5x7. But it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. I took a lot of pictures and I sent them to my family back home. I was getting my life together, and you know, they never did notice that I was pregnant until about October. She was like, "Are you pregnant?" And I was like, "Yeah." My due date was in December, so yeah, they didn't notice till October. But I was like, "But you know, my due date is whenever you close down, because they close down for the winter there. They don't, you know, they don't work here in the winter. They work during the summertime when the tourists are there and stuff. So it worked out really, really well." And I did kind of start dating. I dated a few guys, but it was not good. Um, the type of guy that would date a pregnant woman is just not the kind of guy that you want in your life, honestly. So I just figured I'm not going to find anybody until after my baby's born, and I was just focusing on getting a place, focused on saving my money to get a place so that me and my girls could have a place to stay. But yeah, I got my state ID, and I was getting my life together. I got a lot of help and assistance. You know, I'd gotten on food stamps and stuff like that, and I did find an apartment that I could rent that was in my budget, and the apartment happened to be on the third story, but I was so happy to have my own place. It made all the difference. I mean, whenever we first got this apartment, I was just big and pregnant, and my daughter was almost 2, and I remember I didn't have anything. All that I had was a futon that my mom happened to buy me, and I just was like laying in the middle, like, yay! I just felt so free. I did. I felt so free and so amazing. But yeah, I got health care. I was seeing the doctor because I knew, you know, I'm pregnant. I need to be seeing the doctor, making sure everything's okay. So I was doing that, and I did. There's a Life Choices in Colorado too. So I was taking parenting classes. I was always open to taking parenting classes because it was really, really important to me that I be the best mom that I can possibly be for my children. I loved them so much. During this time, though, you know, I was looking into adoption because I wasn't sure that I could give my baby the best life possible. And I had met with a couple, and they showed me the room that they would give her, and I had known that it's a girl by this point, and they were willing to pay, and they would give her a really good life. And I was like, that's a really good idea. And the more I contemplated it, she was like doing flips in my belly and stuff, and the more I contemplated it, the more I would cry, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't give her up. And so I decided not to do adoption and to keep the baby and to try my best with her. Right before I had her, it was December and her due date was my daughter's birthday. And I was preparing for my daughter's second birthday and for Christmas. And, well, before that, oh my goodness, Thanksgiving in Colorado was really, really bad that year. My mom was really sad and depressed that she couldn't see her family and she was just crying. And I was just like, I can't take this. And I had to leave. And I went out and, on that day, I thought I was going to go out to eat because I was like, I'm going to get us some food, baby girl. I told my daughter that I was going to get us some food. And just no restaurants are open. And I found one. And then, like, they really didn't have turkey or anything. And they were like, is this your Thanksgiving? And I was like, yeah. And, tears in my eyes. And they gave me the meal. They gave me a turkey meal. And they were really nice to my daughter. They gave her a sucker. I think they brought us a pie piece. And it was really nice. And, yeah. Yeah. Thanksgiving was really hard. That was the hardest Thanksgiving ever. It was just my daughter and I, and with my depressed mom. And yeah, that was really, really tough. And I think after that, I don't know, it's like something got into me. This was the first time in my life that this happened to me, but it's not going to be the last time that this happens around this time of year. But it was coming up on her birthday, and I wanted to give her everything. And I mean, like, and Christmas was coming too. There was this princess castle tent that I had to get her, and I had to get her the little Barbie drive around convertible thing so that she could drive it herself. Like, my daughter needed that, and my daughter needed all these little toys, these little, the best baby doll, everything, but I couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford it at all. And I don't know what got into me, but like, I was like, I'm going to get this at all costs. Like, it doesn't matter. I will get these toys. Like, I will get them. And my mom had put my daughter in this Toy for Tots thing, and that was really cool that we got to go through that. But I didn't know about that. But yeah, I tried to get credit cards in my dad's name and my stepdad's name. My stepdad came back later and he's like, I know that you did that. And, my dad probably knew that I did it too, but, they both got denied. And what I did was I looked on my mom's paperwork, her court paperwork, which had their information. So, oh my goodness, I regret that. That's not the thing that I've done over and over again. It's this come over me that I've got to get my kids these nonsense things at all costs. And I've reached them in different ways. But this year I did that, which I didn't actually get a credit card in anyone else's name, but I did get approved for a credit card in my name. And I was like, I wasn't expecting that. And I did. I maxed it out. I maxed it out that Christmas for my daughter. And, I got pictures of her enjoying the presents and stuff. And it's really adorable. But, yeah, really crazy. I don't know what came over me. And it's come over me before. It came over me this year. And I was like, whoa, that's like, I haven't felt that in a while. But, yeah, this feeling of I've got to get my kids these nonsense things. They've got to have the best toys this season. They have to, and I've got to get them at all costs. And it's a weird feeling for me because I've never wanted anything like that for myself at all costs, if that makes sense. Drugs, but not material items like that. So it's really crazy. And I was like, I have to fulfill that for my daughter. And I did, but I regretted it, and it took me a while to pay off that debt. But yeah, and my little daughter, she was about to be born, and It's a crazy story, her birth story, and we'll get there on the next one. But you guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for putting up with my kitty cat. But yeah, thank you for making it to the end too. Awesome. I will see you guys on the next one. Okay. That's all she got.